How ready do you think AJ is to take next step and be like a quality starting quarterback in the SEC?
Well, I'm excited. 3 days into fall camp, I think we had a really good summer. The biggest deal is continuity at quarterback from spring practice, and then we have a lot of receivers that play a lot of football, right? And that's one thing I think that's evident, through the first 3 practices is just the trust they have in each other, and just through repetitions from spring practice this summer, we're more on the same page this early in fall camp than say a year ago.
Is there anybody out here who can stop Will Shepherd?
Well, they've done a good job. He made some plays today, but there's really good compete right now. Give and take on both sides of the ball, and competition makes the best out of all of us. So it's been fun to see those guys compete, and he had a really good day today, and the guys will respond tomorrow.
It feels like Walter Taylor looks a lot better. I mean, what do you think are the areas that he's improved in the most?
Same thing. I think, especially at quarterback, being a young kid, it comes through reps. So spring practice was huge for him to really the first time getting his feet wet and have a better understanding of what we're doing on offense. And then I think he did a nice job this summer of it's always more fun at quarterback to watch yourself on tape. So there's some tape of him in spring practice, what he did well, what he needed to improve upon. But he's more confident right now, just from an understanding standpoint of what we're trying to get done. And it's showing through the first 3 days.
How much does continuity help your offensive line? Not just you being back as coordinator, same offensive line coach, I guess the 3rd straight year, and I guess 4 returning starters and some reserves with some reps. How much easier does that make it, say, compared to this time a year ago?
Well, it's huge, and like you said, same old line coach, same coordinator, and that's great. But it really comes down to the reps when they're truly next to each other and they're in the fire, and they got to communicate at a high level, and not just in practice, but game reps. And you said it, we got 4 returning starters, but we got a bunch of guys in that room that have played quality snaps for us, and so there's a lot of trust in there. They have a really tight group. They're always together, even in the summer, watching tape together. Starting with Bradley Ashmore, he's really taken that group, and Julian Hernandez, guys like that truly know what we're doing on offense, and they've done a great job of bringing the younger guys along too, just the culture in that room. But I'm excited about that group.
What have you seen out of the running backs so far, each of them?
Absolutely, consistency. I mean that. Through 3 days of practice, start with Patrick Smith. He's a guy that's been around, and he is Mr. Consistent. You know what you're going to get every day. He's really smart, really good in pass protection. Does a really nice job of getting the ball on the edge. He can create some explosive plays with his legs, and he's done a nice job in that room as well with Chase Gillespie and Seti getting here as a mid-year kid. Those 3 guys have gotten a lot of reps through 3 days, and then with DP and the young bucks we brought in, you're going to see a lot of guys get reps, but they all got a little different skill set, which I like as a coordinator. It's one of those that different tools in the toolbox to use for certain situations, but I've been really impressed with those guys for 3 days.
For AJ, how much of him taking the next step do you think is decision making?
There's no question about it. I think any time at quarterback, what age you are, decision making is going to be a huge factor in the success of your team. So I think getting meaningful reps last year and going through spring practice. There's times last year that he necessarily didn't make the right read, but didn't necessarily didn't cost us. We still learn from those moments, and he understands that the ball is the program, and through an 80-play football game, there's going to be enough plays to be made that at quarterback you can't make a bad play worse. And when a play presents itself, you got to be able to make it. And he's done a nice job of that through 3 days of fall camp, of understanding his responsibility with the football.
How stiff is your competition for reps at running back, and are you concerned at all with pass protection? Because you've got a lot of young guys in that room there.
Yeah, I'm really not. I feel really good about those guys from an assignment standpoint, and starting with Patrick Smith. And Cheeks has played for us, and not every down guy so far, but he's always been Mr. Consistent from a responsibility standpoint and assignment-wise. And then with how we communicate, I really think we can get on the same page really fast. Chase Gillespie, another guy that's really physical, a really good pass protector. So I feel okay in that element, and I think we'll hold up just fine.
You mentioned the receivers, which looks like a really good position group. So between that being a strong position and then the tight ends being a little thin, how much do you think you might tweak the offense and go more 4 wide and stuff like that?
Yeah, we're going to put our best 11 on the field. I mean that, and whether that's 2 backs, 4 receivers, 2 tight ends, but we're going to be multiple. I really believe in that. I think the more multiple your personnel and formations can create conflict for the defense, and we got some guys really, starting with JB, Justin Ball, that really understands what we're doing. We can be really multiple with him as well, and then with the receivers, that we're going to be very multiple formationally, which will, I think, create some matchups for us, and also create some communication problems for the defense.